Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 7th Benton City City Council meeting. And the meeting is now called to order. Let's see, I think I'll ask Rebecca tonight to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Wadsworth,
here.
Councilman Sandretto,
Here.
Councilman Moakler,
Here.
Councilman Reed,
Here.
Councilwoman Funk,
Here.
all present, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving to the consent agenda, which consists of the regular May 17th council minutes and bills and communications.
Madam Mayor, this is Sarah, and I have a correction to the minutes.
Okay,
Should I state that now?
yes, please.
On page 24, at the bottom of page 24, item L1, resolution 2022-06, the text that's been placed for that resolution includes on the row second to the bottom, declaring an emergency, and this is not supposed to be declared an emergency. That was a
That was
typo on-
removed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was removed from what was approved. This is just maybe a carryover that didn't get cleaned up all the way. So that should, declaring an emergency should be struck, please.
Okay, I believe we can call that scrivener's error. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff.
No, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to remove the bills for clarification.
Yes. Okay, let's approve the minutes then. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
Motion to approve the minutes is amended.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Sandretto, aye. Moakler, aye.
Funk, aye.
Reed, aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Okay, now the bills and communications. What is your question, Mr. Moakler?
On page 1, ACE Sales and Service. And that was check number 31837.
Those are the bathrooms.
Okay. Because we also have Blue Room.
We actually, what happened is we were having both of them at the same time for some reason. I don't know how that happened. So I had them consolidate them all to ACE. So now ACE is going to be our only porta potty provider.
There was more. The core in Maine, I know what they're doing for us. Can you tell us what we purchased on that? Was that more meters?
Some of them were meters, some of them were registers that were broken.
Okay. Hatch Company, 31856.
Don't know that one off the top of my head, to be honest with you.
I believe that's equipment for wastewater treatment.
Can you please speak into the microphone?
That is.
Alan was
wastewater
saying he
treatment.
believes it's wastewater treatment materials. Equipment.
And then lastly, 31870, Department of Agriculture says it's a retest. How many times has this person tested?
This is the second one. We made the check prior to his testing. He has the testing tomorrow.
Do we have any sort of limit on how many times somebody can test?
I haven't heard of there being a limit. I don't know if the Department of Agriculture puts a limit. Normally they pass on the first time.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mochler, are all your questions satisfactorily answered?
They are. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I'll move to approve the bills.
Okay, do I
Second.
have a second?
Wadsworth, second.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Reed, aye.
Sandra, go ahead.
Mochler, aye.
Sandra, aye.
Funk, I.
Wadsworth, aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, now we'll move to the approval of the agenda. And I understand we're going to be moving some. Do you have a preference where you would like those moved?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to move discussion items number 1 and number 3 forward in tonight's agenda to just after public comment.
Okay,
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
yes, you may.
Being that the council is the main consensus of the agenda, would you guys prefer that we do discussion items earlier in case we have people and we can just start doing that from now on?
I don't have a problem with that, per se.
I'm in favor of that.
Okay.
I'm in favor too.
Okay, so moving forward, discussion items, we can put under after regular reports.
Sure.
Okay, I will be doing that then.
Okay, so I still need a motion on the agenda.
I gave a motion. You need a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Reed, aye.
Mochler, aye.
Funk, I.
Wadsworth, aye.
Sandra, aye. Quick question, though. Did you make a motion to approve that,
Is amended.
or was it just the changes?
Just the changes.
Okay,
Okay,
we're gonna have to go through that
Oh, wait a
again.
minute. Okay, yeah, I see what I did.
I'll make the motion to approve them as amended.
Second.
okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mochler, aye.
Funk, I.
Reed, aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Okay, we don't have any proclamations or acknowledgements that I know about. Do we have any?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so now it's visitors' comments time, and we have Lori Lynn, who is going to discuss with us speeding on Willow Way and Kendall. And I do want to remind the council that this is not the first time that this has come to us with speeding. So, Miss Lynn, if you would, please.
Please state your name and address for the record when you speak.
Yeah, my name's Lori Lynn and I live at 1704 Kendall Road. And I'm representing the residents of Kendall Road and Willow Way. Initially, we were hoping for some speed bumps, but I don't know if you're all aware, but there was an accident there about 10 days ago. Some people are shaking their heads, yes. This guy was stoned on drugs and loaded with alcohol, came down, hit a pile of rocks, totaled the full-size Nissan, and then continued to go. Two of the residents on Willow Way happened to see them, and one was calling 911, the other one was videotaping. You know, those are new houses. We pay a fair amount of taxes. We feel like we should be able to live in a safe neighborhood. And this is happening all hours of the day. I walk my dogs at 10 o'clock at night. It's happening. I'm out sometimes 5 or 6 in the morning walking them. It's the same thing. And as soon as they get around on Kendall Way, they floor it and start coming down. So something needs to be done because there's a lot of young kids that live here and everybody's got pets. I mean, in fact, I've never seen a neighborhood with so many pets at this point. Everybody's got numerous dogs. And so we just feel that something needs to be done to address this issue. And from speaking with the people that were living there before in the cul-de-sacs and the gentleman on the farm, he's been saying, yeah, this has been a long-term problem. But the cul-de-sacs were kind of sheltered a little bit because unless they were out on Kendall Road, what portion of it was Kendall Road at that point, it didn't affect them. But now that the road is wider, it's affecting them, affecting everybody. So we'd like something done. Whether or not you put, initially, as I said, we were thinking of speed bumps, but after that accident, we were thinking some of those cement, like triangle things, just block that road off. So people can't come on down there at all.
Yeah, no, blocking off the road is probably not the best idea because we need egress and ingress for the fire department and police department.
Okay.
I'm sure somebody here or somebody from City Hall can reach out to the sheriff's department, see if we can get an emphasis there.
Well, I've talked to the sheriff, the sergeant sheriff twice. And he said the second time when I stopped him, he said he was going to put one of those speeding things, which that never happened. And, which is fine. I mean, I don't think that's going to stop him anyway. Because, it's just going to say you're going 40 in a 25-mile-an-hour zone.
Right.
So I'm not sure if that's going to be very effective. But I mean, I could have had the whole neighborhood wanted to come tonight. And I said, no, they said this isn't the time. So.
May I suggest, since we're not supposed to come up with solutions tonight, we're just supposed to take your comment, that we schedule this as an agenda item at the next council meeting, and maybe we'll be able to come up with some solutions.
Okay.
Is that agreeable to the council?
Yeah, I believe it is. But I would also suggest as the head of the city that you make a phone call to the sheriff as well.
I certainly can do that.
We've discussed speeding in a lot of different avenues over the years. And yet we still haven't really put out those traffic counters or gotten traffic counts that I've seen so that we know where we've got problems. We really need to do that as well.
Mhm.
There's
I
currently
agree.
one on 7th Street.
Is there?
Mhm.
Okay.
So does that mean you want a whole bunch of people next month, or you just want them to sign a petition, or what do you want?
No, I think we need to figure out.
Oh,
If
okay.
you'd like to have a representative here, you're more than welcome to.
And it would be June 21st.
Oh, this month? Oh, you do meet twice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll pass it on.
Okay.
See what they want to do,
Okay.
because they all would have come tonight. You said yes, me, so I wanted to honor that.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, we have 2 more that added while they were here. Next, we have Shane Yocum.
Good evening, everyone. Shane Yocum,
Good evening.
Botacaluga. I wanted to talk about the archiving of city council videos. I've been doing it since 2019, pretty much. To be honest, I started kind of being a smart mouth and proof and concept idea. Zoom has made it a whole lot easier for everyone to do this. What I'm requesting is that the city take the Zoom file, upload it to a YouTube channel, and the city website can add a link right next to the agenda packet minutes that'll go out to YouTube. This was originally talked about with Paula and I. She was just waiting for the internet to get faster at City Hall, and then she decided to move on, so it kind of got stalled out. So that is what my request is. By all means, I'll be willing to help and get that to happen. The reason for this is, quite honestly, I'm wanting to work on some other projects, and this is starting to eat into that time. Thank you.
Okay. I think it's a wonderful idea. I'm all for getting this out to the public. I don't know how the council feels about it, but I think it's a great idea.
I don't think anybody on the council has a problem with it, Madam Mayor. I think it just takes you to make that happen. So I think
Okay.
council's on favor. Everybody?
Yeah, I for sure. My only comment would be if there's problems that continue with the internet, I know Benton County only posts audio as an example. So there's probably a lot of solutions, but hopefully video will work since it's linked to YouTube.
Madam
Yes,
Chair,
I'm
ahead.
sorry. It, with the internet being much faster, and going to the video going to YouTube, it will be much more effective. And also posting the video will be a huge time saver to the city employees, because if you do audio to YouTube, it will take an hour to set it up, so YouTube will accept it.
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
Having the consensus of the council to do this, Shane, are you able to
Bless you.
meet with me one of these days to show me how to do that?
Yes, I can get that accomplished.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shane.
Next, we have Bruce McAllister. State your name and address for the record, sir, before you
It's
speak.
Bruce McAllister, 1210 Grace Court, Benton City.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
You can give it to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're a bit behind the 8 ball on meeting the deadline. A little bit of it was ignorance on my part, but we'd like to ask for an amendment to the moratorium on the housing subdivision and building. Our lot is a little over an acre, and we've been to the meeting with, what was the meeting we had out with HBL preliminary, and we passed that, correct? Zoning.
Bruce, could you please repeat that and speak into the mic?
Sure. We had the preliminary meeting with Alan Rainey and I can't remember her name, from AHBL, and you were there. And we passed that, we meet zoning. My wife and I, the driver behind this, there's several things, but one of the things is my wife and I are getting close to retirement. I'm retired, my wife is close. And we're in a little bit of a tenable situation. We're doing fine. We have good credit and all of those things, but we're in a kind of a situation that if we lose a spouse, we lose a house because we lose an income. And so we had thought of subdividing when we bought this property. We could put 3 small lots in there, but we chose to go with 2 larger lots, and they're close to a 1/4 acre. That the land next to the north boundary is OIE or Hazel. The street to the right is 13th, and Grace Court is that little cul-de-sac, and we're the house there at the top. We get the same amount of water as all 4 of those lots below us. I had irrigation specialists design irrigation system for us. I have over 5,000 feet, which is over a mile of pipe in the ground, because I can only run 2 sprinkler heads at a time with the lowest volume on impacts. So that lower section, I can't irrigate, for one. That's minor thing, but it grows weeds. And so from our first meeting with Alan and the group, it was decided that we needed to get a survey done. So we got that completed. I contacted 3 survey companies locally. One could not get me until May. They were $5,500, and they would not even give me a date if they could, when they could start taking people. The second company I called And I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't bring their names. They were $5,000 and couldn't get to it till, I think it was March, late March. And so I hired Worley Surveying and had it done. So we kind of have budgeted. I couldn't get a firm price from HBL on their portion of doing the preliminary stuff for the subdivision. She said somewhere between, she really wouldn't say. And basically by talking to other people, I kind of got the guess that it was somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000, and 5 was probably the good average, and they've seen them as high as 10,000 to do their part from HBL. So we have budgeted, we actually borrowed money from personal loan from the bank to do this project, and we paid for the surveying and have the money set aside to do the remainder portion to see if we can subdivide. And so when we had it subdivided, the surveyor put flags up and where the divisions would be. And Dick Helland, the local realtor, came by and said, "Are you interested in selling those lots?" And I said, "Well, sure." And best as I can tell, the average lot price of bare land in Tri-City, in Benton City, runs between $50,000 and $70,000. And two young builders, they just finished the house on 914 West 13th. That's that white house with the black trim that had been empty. We've been here 3 years, and they just finished it and sold it. They did a nice job. And they came over, and I really liked them. And we had a meeting week ago Saturday at our house, and they offered us $150,000 a lot, which is really terrific. And we want to pay our house off. So to set us up for the future, we want to stay in our home and when my wife retires. So I told them a couple of covenants that I wanted in the agreement, and one was no mobile homes, no two-story homes, because we have a skyline view there. So we can see Red Mountain and the hills over here. So we wanted to maintain that, and they agreed to that. And I understand, I think the moratorium, the purpose, what you guys are trying to do is a good idea, because I like it out here, but I don't want to see a row of great houses. One of the things I'd like to point out is on a 1 to 2 lot small subdivision, they're going to be unique homes. And I talked to the builder today, and I said that I'd be at this meeting to see if we could get a hardship amendment or whatever you would call it to allow us to go ahead and subdivide. If I said it would be up to the city council what fits their vision, but we can write. I said, I know they don't want same colored houses. Can you paint them different colors? And he said, yes, we can do that. And I said I could put it in the covenant before we close this up. And the other one was to have 2 different floor plans. And they want to build 1,500 square feet homes about. And he was happy with that. So that's what we hope to do, and hope you guys would consider that, because there's no, there's a couple other things going on in our world as a whole. Is interest rates are rising, and pretty quick. If they continue, I've been around long enough to know we can't read the future, but it doesn't look real promising. It looks like we're going to go into kind of a scary mortgage rate, and I don't know if we would have that opportunity to get that kind of money out of those lots in the future, and maybe for a long period of time, for one. And then the builder would have to be able to build So I can't just sell him the lots and have him sit on them, because he doesn't, he wants to build and be able to sell. Then again, I'd like to point out what they did on that house just down the street that sat empty for, we've been here little over 3 years. And they did a beautiful job on it and sold it. They had multiple bidders on it, so. So one of the things is the interest rates rising, and if we wait 6 months, I'm afraid the buyers probably are going to move on, and I don't know if we can get that kind of money. I don't know if anybody's going to be buying here shortly. So if you guys could consider some form of amendment that would allow us to proceed, we'd like to do that. So if you guys have any questions.
So Bruce, just to clarify, you're wanting an amendment to do your short plat,
To complete it.
to complete your short
Yeah,
plat?
that you don't need an amendment.
Okay, so we can go ahead and
You can short
have
plat it. You just
AHBL do
can't
it.
build on it.
Yeah, so we would want to.
No,
No.
that is not what we agreed to. Is
Hello,
that
Mr. Duke, how are you doing?
we,
Keith Gardner.
ABHL back there?
The moratorium is on residential subdivisions,
And short plats.
right? So unless there's a complete plat application submitted for the short plat, I don't know that there was, but it sounds like maybe there wasn't. Then
I
it's not-
missed it by about a week.
Right, so then it's not vested, so it would be prohibited under the moratorium right now.
The subdivision of the property?
Right, so unless there was an amendment, for example, to allow short plats generally, then that would permit him to proceed.
I thought we weren't going to limit short plats. I thought that was already supposed to be.
No, it includes subdivisions and any residential construction that's not vested under a subdivision. So that would include, some type of,
No,
go ahead.
I thought it included single lots as well. It said placements on
It
lots.
No, it does, and it includes subdivisions, but there is the caveat there that it would not prohibit someone who is vested. So someone who has a subdivision that's currently vested could follow through, and by follow through, I mean they could build houses after that subdivision is finalized.
Yes, that's correct. Anyone vested.
Right.
Margaret, can you mute your phone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So. Right, I agree, it would be problematic to do a site-specific amendment to a moratorium. I don't think that would be, but a council could do an amendment to allow short plats, for example, and that would allow him to proceed if they wanted.
Would that allow the builder to build?
No.
Because he doesn't want to buy a lot
Right.
and just sit on it and wait for the interest rates to rise.
Right,
So then for us to subdivide it would be,
mhm,
I mean, about $15,000 for us to subdivide it
mhm.
and about $15,000 to sell it. So.
May,
about
may,
$30,000.
may I interrupt again? Is this a discussion item or is this a visitor comment?
Visitor comment.
Visitor comment.
So we've well exceeded our 3-minute limit.
I would say bring it up for discussion at the next meeting if you guys want to amend it, or just leave it as is.
We're gonna have to talk about it. So figure out what we can do to talk about it.
Yeah, our assets are kind of tied up.
What's your ETA to have those,
It's going to the planning commission on the
The design
23rd,
standards.
the design standards,
on what date?
the 23rd.
23rd. So what's our time? Wendy, can you lean one way? ABHL back there. I forget your name. I'm sorry.
Nicole.
Nicole. What's our time frame to get this approved and get that moratorium lifted?
May I sit down?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, this is Nicole Stickney with AHBL. In response to that, it is a legislative process to be changing codes. So there is no set timeline. We do hope to expedite as much as possible. We've already sent a preliminary set of proposed code changes to the Department of Commerce, for example, to already get that underway. And we'll be looking at doing a workshop with the Planning Commission later this month.
Okay.
Following that, it'll have to go through SEPA environmental review. That does take some time. There's a public comment period. And then we'll take it to the Planning Commission for a public hearing. I don't know if they'll complete their work with one public hearing. I'm reminded here recently with some of the code changes that we've been working on, they've taken longer than I expected, quite frankly. So it depends on, you know, how comfortable everyone is, how efficient we are in our meetings, both at the Planning Commission level and at the City Council level. We try to facilitate and provide you with all the information that we can and come well prepared. But when we get to meetings and we discover, you know, somebody didn't read the packet or didn't understand a question and didn't reach out to us, then we're, you know, I don't know what to say for that. Those are limiting circumstances to progress in a general sense. So those are some of the things to keep in mind.
Okay, so you don't have a definite 90 days?
No, sir. No, because it's a legislative item. It's not subject to statutory guidelines for the number of days that a code amendment would be processed. It's not like a permit application. It's a different process altogether.
Okay, I was under the understanding that this was going to be 120 days to
I don't
6 months.
believe that was
tops.
ever said, but the duration of the moratorium is set for 6 months. And that's how long the moratorium was set for. The moratorium can be rescinded, extended. That is up to this legislative body. In the same sense that it is up to this legislative body to adopt an ordinance, which would bring in design guidelines, you know, do the things that is our objective, right? What we're trying to achieve here. But no, there's no requirement of this council to accept an ordinance by a certain date, or even for the Planning Commission to make a recommendation by a certain date. We hope that they will move expeditiously, but we don't know what their concerns are. We haven't even brought this to them at a public meeting for a workshop discussion yet.
Okay.
So we've got a little ways to go.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
How does that affect the situation like we're in? I mean, can there be an amendment?
Could you please speak into the microphone, sir?
Excuse me. And I didn't understand if an amendment could be put in place to handle situations such as ours, because time is very important probably in this case. I would feel very comfortable in saying. And others that are in our situation that may come up on a small property like that, so. Any questions?
No, we'll discuss it at some other time. Thank you.
When will I hear back?
We'll have to discuss how we're gonna proceed on it and then the next meeting. So probably at least 2 weeks. You won't hear anything.
Okay, should I attend?
You're more than welcome to, sir.
Well, it's important to me, so.
I understand that, but you have to understand where we're at too. To allow an amendment like this puts us at a legal bind.
Yeah,
And we were gonna need to discuss this with our attorney and a whole bunch of other things.
yeah, I understand.
So,
It puts us at a financial bind too, you know, and all of our assets are tied up in this.
I
deal,
understand.
And I understand your importance, and we want to meet that. And we can, if you guys can give us a direction on a small, 1-2 lot deal like this, but anyway, do what you can, and I guess
You're more than welcome to attend and
it's important for me, that'd be the proper way to do it.
yeah, just come to the meeting and if we're doing anything in an open public setting, you'll be able to participate. If we have to go to an executive session, that would be a closed door issue.
Okay.
And those types of things, we're discussing legal matters.
So
Yeah, I'm sorry for my ignorance.
Mr. McAllister, I'm going to have to ask you to yield the floor, please, and let us move on with the
Sure.
council meeting.
Thank you.
But
for-
thank you for bringing the comment forward.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so we are now finished with visitors' reports. So we are going to move to discussion item 1. Which is Kelsey Secord, donation of exercise equipment for the walking path. Thank you, Kelsey.
So Kelsey Secord, 100 Babs Avenue, Benton City. We're putting together Benton City 4th of July 5K and donating all the money to exercise stations along the walking path. Any questions?
I guess since this is the first time that I'm hearing of any of this, what are we talking about? What are you putting out there? Or what's going on?
Yeah, so the equipment that I've been looking at is in Washington, the Made in Washington. If you would like to look at it, I'm hoping that we would raise enough money for 1, maybe 2 stations. Stations run anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000, so I'm hoping $2,000, raise around $2,000 to $4,000 to be able to donate one or 2 stations. Installation, we need to dig a hole and concrete. It says 3 to 4 bags.
So
I
is
have all
this-
this paperwork right
Well,
here.
When we're talking exercise equipment, I guess, and I'm going to plead ignorance here.
Okay.
Are we talking the same thing as like Richland where they got the monkey bar? you
Yeah.
Pull up.
Yeah. Yep.
da, 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 da.
Yeah, so enjoy the nice walk along the walking path and then pull over to the first exercise station, which is pull-up bars or, monkey bars. And then the second one might be a squat station and a leg stretch station for, and then hopefully be able to, in the future, raise more money to have more exercise stations along the path.
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
Do you know where you want to put these first off?
I do not. I was thinking I've had some people recommend putting it along right out here in between 9th and 13th Street compared to behind the skate park, since it's kind of more covered and this area out front would be seen to the public a little bit more. Or down along that little loop off of 13th.
Okay. Madam Mayor, may I address the city attorney?
Yes, you may.
What's our exposure on that? Anything?
Typically, there's recreational immunity. It's sort of like an assumption of risk. You go to a park, you fall on the playground equipment, that sort of thing. I would think that most people would know that exercise equipment is dangerous, and so they're assuming the risk by working out.
All right, I assume Richland did it, so I
Mm-hmm.
assume there's not a big deal with it, but I wanted your opinion on it.
Right. Assuming a risk is sort of like a waiver of liability. By assuming a risk, then you can't sue someone for the extent that you're negligent. And so to the extent you assume a risk voluntarily, you can't go blame someone else if you get hurt.
Okay. And so again, since I haven't heard anything about this or don't remember anything about it, you're looking to raise funds for this and then put it in, or have us help you put it in, or?
Well, I was donating it to the city, since it will be on the walking path as the city property, correct?
Well, the city maintains it.
Okay,
The property is actually owned by a county irrigation district.
okay,
And that may be another challenge for us. And looking at our contract with them as to if we can even put that up on that particular properties. Some of that property though does border our property. So we could put it off to the side on our piece. But to put it right up against the path, I think almost the entire path is right on Kiona Irrigation, middle road, running top of the pipe.
Okay.
So I don't have a problem with it.
I think it's a great idea. I think that this 5K that they're working on for 4th of July is one of the biggest ones in terms of sponsorship that the city's probably ever seen, and dollars being contributed already. So I think that this is something you're going to see money be raised for sure, that could come to fruition pretty quick. Maybe further to Councilman Sandretto's point, to share the project and let the Kiona Irrigation know they meet next Wednesday at 7 PM at the library, and you could socialize it with them too, because there's kind of like the skirt on both sides of the walking trail and stuff like that. And if you think, I don't know, 5 bags of cement or 3 bags of cement, that's something that gets taken out, could get taken out just as easy as it gets put in. And maybe they could give a steer if they're, along with their supportive, if they have any concerns on a specific area.
That would be a good topic for the next meeting.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Is this something that, Alan, you could work with as well?
Yeah. I could talk to irrigation district too, see if they're willing.
Thank you.
I think other than that, we're good.
Okay, so what do you need me to do? Do you need to come next Wednesday at 7 at the library?
The library.
Okay.
That'd be the suggestion.
Okay. Anything else from me that to get this ball rolling?
I would just bring your paperwork and let them understand what it is. Tell them, they're pull-up bars and
Yeah.
things like that.
Okay.
And if they're unwilling to do that, we obviously have contract with Department of Wildlife.
Fish and Wildlife.
So I was working it. It's slow brain, but it's there. And we can put it probably on that particular portion.
Mhm.
Probably 2 or 3 or 4 of them down there in the loop and
With no problem.
yeah.
Apologies for interrupting, with no problem, because they've already done like their historical digging. That's
Yeah.
not what it's called. And the different pieces.
Archaeological.
Thank you.
Okay, so then I'll bring this paperwork. Would anyone like to see it, have questions about the company I'm looking at? I'm open to other, businesses that build these fitness exercise stations. I just like this one because it was manufactured in Washington, made in Washington. I think that's pretty cool.
That's perfect. I think this board is all about keeping it local. So the closer you can get it here, the better off it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelsey, for the great ideas. Appreciate it. Okay, then we are moving to item 3, which is the use of the old Benton City Council computer equipment or sound.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
So,
That's me and
Okay.
Shane. So a few weeks ago, Shane approached me to see if they're having an ice cream social, apparently a bunch of churches on the 4th of July at the community center. And he requested to see if they can use the old council chamber equipment that was being used here. And I don't know if that's ever been done before, not done before. I know, like where I came from, it hasn't been done, and it's not my decision to make. So I asked him, I put it on the agenda to bring it to you guys to see if, and having the attorney here, if you guys do agree with renting it out, loaning it out, what type of contract or agreement would need to be done, and if so, for how much, that type of stuff, because not even on our, it'd be something new to add to our fee schedule, or the other option would be if we just want to leave it at the community center for people to use. But in all honesty, I don't exactly know what that equipment entails. Shane does.
All right, the equipment I was thinking of is the old all-in-one system that we replaced with the current system that's being used with Zoom. It came up because of Faith Council's interest in a PA system, but overall, being that equipment is available or potentially available, making it something that could be added to the equipment for the community center. That way the city isn't gifting this item out to anybody. Another option is to rent it out separately. My personal bias obviously will be putting it with the community center's equipment and adding it to the list of things that if it's broke, it gets fixed via the renter of the community center.
Madam Mayor, may I address Mr. Yocum?
Yes, you may.
Shane, this is the old equipment we had down at the community center already, right? That's the stuff you're talking about.
I'm not sure. I know it's the one that was in the current room you're in prior to us putting in the hardwire and making it compatible for Zoom.
Had the speakers.
Yeah, it has the built-in speaker already set into it.
And currently that's just sitting in the closet, right?
It is my understanding it's in a closet. We're going to be confirming exactly where it's located at this week.
I love the smile, buddy. I love the smile. Madam Mayor, I don't have any issue with making that happen on a loan out basis for nonprofits and a fee for private rentals. I think that would be appropriate.
That's good.
I'm supportive of it too.
So, Jeff, is there like a rental agreement we would have to come up with? Or,
Right, certainly, in terms of what Mr. Yocum's envisioning, where we would want them to repair it. If it's broken by the user, you'd want that written up in some form of an agreement.
so then being that currently our community center is rented out with $100 deposit and $150, I think the deposit, like if they want to include that, would be much more.
Right.
So we
But,
would have to amend our fee schedule for that then.
but with a private rental, there would
Yeah.
also be an increase in the rental cost too, because you would charge the deposit and the rental.
Mhm.
With a nonprofit, I envision a deposit only,
Mhm.
and they can use it for the event, whatever that is, to raise funds. And
Because right now, nonprofits, privates, anybody who uses a community center pays the $100 deposit with the $150 to use the community center.
right.
So,
Well, that's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Kind of lock them in for a little bit of damage,
Yeah.
and then you're going to have to fight for the rest.
You'd probably also want to have some sort of caveat there that the nonprofit be doing something in our community and not, over in
Yeah.
Walla Walla or something.
Well, for use in our community center
yeah,
or
Right.
local community
yeah.
within the city limits.
So is it the council's consensus? Then I work with Jeff to come up with an agreement and a monetary amount and bring it back to you guys? Or just what we decide? I don't know if any numbers you guys are thinking of. I don't know what its value is anymore.
I'm supportive of you moving this forward, Rebecca, with the city attorney. And I don't think it needs to come back to us. I think it's a great thing that this was already brought forward for discussion item.
Well, if it's a contract, though, we probably have to bring it back to council. Right?
For
Talking about
approval.
renting it out, yeah. Unless we have some sort of advance authority.
You already got a contract in place. It's just a fee schedule thing, isn't it? Or
Well, we have the community center
you'd have to
rental
add it.
agreement already that's
Mhm.
being used. So we would add it to that. But I
Mhm.
think a separate contract for the PC we can
Right.
draft. And then if they want to use it, we attach it to the current
Right.
community center rental agreement we have.
Right, but if you're adding it, if you're altering the terms of the agreement, then it's an amendment, you need
I-
approval. of both
yeah,
parties.
I think what we probably ought to do is, God, I feel like a lawyer. I think we should have a separate one. So that if somebody's not renting the community center and they want to borrow it to do I don't know, kids
Yeah.
parade.
Or
Yeah.
even vice versa. They want to use the community center, but don't want to take the responsibility of the
Of-
equipment.
Yeah,
I'm
Okay.
glad someone's acting like a lawyer around here.
about time.
Okay, so I'll get with Jeff and then at the next meeting, we'll bring it up just so you guys can review the separate agreement just for the PC and whatever monetary amount we come up with.
Please and thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Getting back on track here with the agenda. It looks like the next item is the regular reports, which would be staff reports, treasurer's report, and any committee meeting reports. The treasurer's report is in the packet. Are there any other staff reports? I believe AHBL, are you reporting under staff reports?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, council. We've been very busy, as you may have been able to tell, just looking through our project memo here. And I'll just quickly go over some of these highlights as I typically do. We are continuing to help with looking at building permits when they come in. We've reviewed about 20 residential permits in the last quarter. We're there to answer questions of staff, and they refer many folks over to us every week to answer different questions on zoning and other matters. Title 17, as you know, we've been working through those proposed amendments. We did issue a SEPA DNS with the checklist that we prepared for the non-project action. There's been a lot ready, kind of poised, so that this is ready for city council. As you'll recall, we talked at the last meeting how this has been recommended by the Planning Commission. So that'll be brought back to you next meeting. And we did provide a corrected copy as requested earlier in the week that will be replicated in the next packet. So you have extra time for that. We do realize that is quite lengthy. We have researched different things with the FEMA flood map, and I hope to have more information on that pretty soon. There was a community assistant visit with ecology. We're still working to close that out. Next, I highlighted that we helped process a short plat. There's a couple more days left on a appeal period, I believe, on that one. You see the comprehensive plan that'll be considered later this evening again. That is coming to you with a recommendation of approval by the Planning Commission, and we've been busy processing that, of course, and preparing the ordinance for your first reading tonight. There's a few other items that I've listed, which are permit applications, and so that pretty much summarizes what I've highlighted for our activity. And then I provided to you because I came to the realization that when we were hired on, not everyone was here on council. There's been some changes. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to kind of reintroduce ourselves and so that you know our qualifications. And so we provided kind of a mini version of our original RFP response. So outlined information about our firm, showed you kind of a list of people that are helping out on our team for AHBL, information about work we do in other communities and other projects that have been completed. I have a nice little diagram that shows our task order process for further understanding of that, and then our abbreviated resumes for our project team. So just wanted to provide that to you, to reintroduce ourselves to you that have been on council, and then also introduce ourselves to those of you who are new on council and to the community at large. So appreciate the opportunity to include that with my memo. And with that, I'll answer any questions you may have.
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
So thank you, Nicole. That's really helpful. One question that I had about your on-call planning experience summary is Benton City is not listed. We know you've been providing planning services for a while. Is there a comparable city, either in Eastern Washington or Western Washington, in terms of service offerings that you provide to Benton City? Do we
Well-
check all those boxes?
Oh, I see. So the reason why Benton City is not listed is because I didn't reinvent this. This is from our RFP from 2 years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, so we're no longer doing the on-call services for Franklin County, though I do other work for them. Some of these are different tenure, right? So there are some more communities that we're servicing now. One that my team does here in the Tri-Cities is Carnation, Washington. So they're over in King County. They have a planner on staff, but we supplement their staff. And as you can imagine, there is a plethora of extra regulations because they're in King County. So that's a very different ball game over there, but we are helping them. We prepare items for their hearing examiner, for example. So it really is a service that we provide that sort of has a wide range depending on the needs of the individual community and what you are interested in terms of your community, in terms of regulations and all of that framework that goes along with it.
Thanks, Nicole. I'm going to try my question again. So
Yeah.
if you look at Connell, there's a bunch of X's and then there's an NA.
Yeah.
If Benton City did have a column, and no one's saying it needs.
Do you want me to go through each one?
No. I just
Oh.
wonder, would most of the X's be there for us too?
Certainly, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
I know you guys are doing a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again. Oh,
Sorry, I forgot your name earlier.
no, no worries at all. Now you have a picture and everything too. For your ready reference. Again, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. I guess, as I said, the treasurer's report is in the packets. Are there any committee meeting reports?
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
Last month, prior to me leaving, I had spoke on the two committees I'm on. However, I was unable to attend the county irrigation district, and I had Miss Wadsworth attend that. So
Yes, I was in attendance of that one. I did bring up the fact that council had suggested maybe I brought to the irrigation committee about using their water exit for the paddle boards, and that was shot down extremely fast. So I was there, I did attend, I did bring that up to them. Obviously, that's not something that they're in favor of. So if that's something that we're gonna move forward with, we'll have to find a different route or a different area for them to get out and in. And so, but yes, I was in attendance. Thank
Madam
you.
Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
Okay, we kind of had the feeling that that was going to happen for the summer program. So basically paddleboarding, kayaking is out of the question because there have not been anybody or anywhere that they have found for the second location for that. So basically that's dead in the water for this year with not having. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Mayor, they disembark at the boat launch and they need somewhere to come out of?
Yes, well, or what I discussed with Fish and Wildlife was actually putting a launch up at the 14th Street. Somewhere close, as close as we could get to the parking area. And at least on a preliminary basis, they seem to be willing to do that. And then they could come out at the other boat launch. That would be probably good for the younger kids because it's far enough, but it's not too far for young ones.
Would that be this year or next year?
No, we'd have to figure all that out.
Yeah.
That would be next year. But we do have the hope of doing more at the community center on the summer program. I discussed that with Jennifer because if we could have computers to go down there, we could start offering classes as soon as we get the Nighthawk equipment from FirstNet. And they're going to be presenting tonight, I think. So we could ask them about how long it would take to get that installed. And that would open up a whole lot of things to us in terms of night classes for adults and day classes for children. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm trying to accomplish now, and hope that we'll get the okay on something like that.
So basically, right now, the summer program consists of community nights on Tuesday nights. And she is looking to do community days, some other events or projects she can do with the kids during the summer, but the kayak and paddleboarding is out. And just an FYI, I have a meeting with Allison Green and the manager of RCO because they are either, there's two options that they are presenting to us with this, is either surrendering everything to them now because we're not using them this year, means giving them back, or just leaving the grant that is and seeing what we can do with it next year. But those are the two options that they're having is, okay, well, since you're not using them this year, then we'll take them back and try again next year, or you know what, just leave it alone and we'll give you guys another year to try to figure something out. But I have that meeting on Monday. So we'll see what happens.
Madam Mayor, may I address?
Yes, you may.
I think looking around this room, I think the bulk of us would want to continue that program. So work for that avocation.
Yes, I am.
Also, Madam Mayor, may I have the floor again?
Yes.
And to finish off this month, I had a planning and marketing meeting with Ben Franklin Transit, consisting of going over some very lengthy reports that are federally required. That was about all to that meeting. Well, the board of directors will be meeting this Thursday, and I want to publicly get it out to our city that the board as a whole is not trying to return tax money. We're not trying to put more taxation in place. There are some folks that want to review our spending and our available funds and revenues and see if we can't cut some percentage of the sales tax revenue. That's all it is currently. Please, to the citizens, do not feel that there's going to be some magic vote tomorrow night or Thursday night that's going to cut your services. That's not the goal. That's not what this other director is looking at. We're all listening to everybody appropriately and making decisions as such. And I do welcome the emails. Please keep it below 100 a day, but other than that, we're good. That's it for me for my committee reports.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any committee reports?
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
So since our last meeting, I've been working to make sure that I had got things moved over from where Councilwoman Keela was out and she left. And I think I've done that. The BF COG meeting, unfortunately, they didn't get me on the distribution list. So I missed that last week, but we have it fixed going forward. And I attended the Benton City Chamber meeting last night, and they were talking about good success from events that they had over the last 30 to 45 days, and also planning for future events. And one item I wanted to highlight was, among other things, and the good work they're doing, the movies in the park was going to be outside, and then they made a quick pivot to put it in the community center, and it was really well attended. There was over 50 people. I actually want to say there's probably over 80. 80 is the number I have in my head, but it was definitely over 50. And so that's a really good turnout for the first one and bringing it back to the space. And the concessions were really good. And if anybody in the community is interested in getting more active in the chamber or helping with one-time commitments just for setup or tear down as they get more busy over the next couple of months with both 4th of July and then more movies in the park and National Night Out and everything else, they're always looking for volunteers. Thank you.
They're having their community yard sale this weekend.
I am the community yard sale this weekend. Yes, they're having the community yard sale on Saturday this weekend. And it's really, really, really cool because not only is there a map of the community yard sale and everything else, but on the backside, you can actually see what is going to be available at the different areas. So you can really target kind of where you want to go. So I'm happy to pass these around if anybody's interested in checking them out. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay. So I think at this time, then we will close the regular council meeting and move into executive session
It is
under
8:07, Madam Mayor.
at 8:07 under RCW 4230-110I. Potential litigation. So this council meeting is closed and we'll resume in how long? How long do you think we need?
Maybe 20 minutes. I know I always say
20
like
minutes?
an hour or so.
Well,
So
this one is, this is for Alan. How long do you think we need, Alan?
I go 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right, sounds like a good number.
All right, 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Meeting's adjourned.
For executive session, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh, yeah. I thought, I didn't notice this in prior years. I think that's just so.
So,
to really-
will somebody be putting the people in the waiting room?
What?
Okay. All right. Are we having a public hearing at all tonight?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So then we can move on to items for approval. And the first one is ordinance 1037, amending the Benton City Comp Plan. And did you have anything further to say about that, Nicole?
She's coming.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening once again, Council. We did prepare a project memo to answer and respond to some of the questions that came up at the last meeting. So I just like to go over that very quickly. So first of all, we addressed the question of spot zoning and gave kind of a response as to why we don't view this as a spot zone situation. And that is in regards to the proposed area-wide rezone. There's only one rezone this year because most of the comp plan amendments, as you'll recall, are not within city limits, but they're still within the city's urban growth area. And so zoning is dictated by the county. But in the case of the parcel on Horn Road that is proposed to be changed from a commercial land use designation to residential land use designation, and then accordingly rezone from C1 to R3, we don't consider that a spot zone for the reasons that we've outlined. We did also state that if you think R3 might be too intensive in that particular location, an alternative is that it could be rezoned to R2 instead. So that could be easy amendment to the ordinance that we've prepared for first reading tonight. We could bring it back, zoning it to R2 if that is more palatable to council. Again, though, I would remind you that the applicant has requested R3 zoning. We did process this through the SEPA environmental review process with that proposed zoning designation, and staff and the Planning Commission are recommending R3 zoning as the applicant has applied for. And that is described more fully in the ordinance itself with the recitals that we have prepared. So we might need to also change a recital or tweak it a little bit, the language, but for ordinance, proposed ordinance 1038, that is one for the area-wide rezone. You could make that change. That's always an option. And then there was a separate comment, which was made by a member of the public suggesting that a committee be formed to really take a close look at comprehensive plan amendments. But we wanted to remind you that the Planning Commission serves that role already, and that is the structure, and that is their role given to them by the state via the Planning Enabling Act. And you appoint, or the mayor appoints people to the Planning Commission, you confirm them. So they are there as your advisory board. And it does state in the Benton City Municipal Code that the Planning Commission does have a duty to make a recommendation on comp plan amendments to the council each year. So our recommendation is, we don't believe that there needs to be a separate committee or task force or entity. We believe that it is the right thing to take it to the Planning Commission. That certainly has been done. So we wanted to highlight that that is the process. To conclude, we recommend that you hold a first reading on the ordinance adopting the 2021 comprehensive plan amendments. That is proposed ordinance number 1307. What did I say? Sorry. 1307?
You put 1307, but it's actually 1037.
Oh, we transposed it. I apologize. Thank you for that correction. And we will correct that for the, oh, I see. Some of our other items have it correct. Okay, 1037. Thank you for that correction. And then also we recommend approval of ordinance 1038, which is the area-wide rezone. And we're available to help modify that ordinance if that's your pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.
Point of order. Seems like the mayor is out of the meeting.
All right.
So we need a motion to have the mayor pro tem continue.
Motion such.
Second.
Turn to the mayor.
All in order?
Aye.
Mochler, aye.
Funk, aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, so I need a motion for the first reading for ordinance 1037.
To you.
I make a, madam, not madam.
Mr.
Mr.
or,
We'll talk afterwards. Let's go back into
Mayor
executive
Pro
session.
Tem, sorry about that. I make a motion to approve the first reading ordinance of 1037, amending the Benton City Comprehensive Plan or Plan 2017 with 2021 amendments.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Nobody's in favor of this? I guess I'll lead it. Aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Funk, aye.
Mochler, aye.
Reed, aye. Motion carries.
Next item.
Yeah, I gotta find it.
I was gonna say, let's scroll back up.
First reading of ordinance 1038.
Yeah, I want to get to it.
I don't have that one. I've got a fireworks thing.
All right, the next item on the agenda is first reading of ordinance 1038, amending the Benton City zoning map and reclassifying certain real property to implement the Benton City Comprehensive Plan 2017 with 2021 amendments.
I'll make the motion as such.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Wadsworth, aye.
Mochler, aye.
No.
You don't. Aye.
The R3 is just still all by itself.
Well,
But if it's
we
not
have
stop
another
zoning.
reading
Okay.
and I think we're gonna have another discussion.
Great.
So gives us 2 weeks and yeah, we'll talk about it.
So just to confirm, Councilwoman Funk's vote is nay?
Correct.
Okay. Need one more.
Reed, nay.
3-2.
3-2. Motion carries.
Motion carries.
Still need a second reading on it, so we're good.
Next item on the agenda is resolution 2022-07, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Benton City to sign the agreement for promotional services between the city of Benton City and the Benton City Lions Club.
I make a motion to pass resolution 2207, authorizing the mayor of Benton City to sign the agreement for promotional services between the city of Benton City and Benton City Lions Club.
Discussion.
Hello? Hello?
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Well, we see you there.
You see
Oh.
me?
We hear you. Sorry.
No, I had to call in. I don't know. I got bumped off of it. I tried to log back in and it just keeps saying waiting, waiting, waiting. So I decided I would call in.
Okay.
I'll keep trying though on Zoom.
Okay. Just so you know, we continued the meeting. We passed the next two resolutions and we're on to the Lions Club piece right now.
Oh, all right.
And before we get too far on that, I don't believe the resolution's showing or has been discussed with Miss Davis. Would you like to speak on it? As far as the fireworks?
Would I?
No, Miss
Or
Davis in the
Miss
audience.
Davis? Yeah, if she's
You'll
there,
have
yeah.
time coming up in Jeremy.
Only because it's been a cluster. Wendy Davis.
Yes.
92922 North Harrington Road, West Richland. I'm here for the donation from the city for the fireworks show for the city 4th of July celebration happening on the 4th of July. And we are asking for $5,500.
Okay.
Questions?
So it went up. Normally it's 5,000. That's what it was last year.
There tends to be an increase just in costs annually. I think it probably started at $10, tell you the truth. It's just, it progressively increases cost wise.
Even the 55 isn't really going to cover it, but I'm hoping that when we order the show, it will, plus tax won't go much more over that. I have to allow at least $1,000 worth of tax for the show. And that comes out of the Benton City budget.
Okay, so just to clarify, this agreement says 5,000.
Mhm.
So.
That's why I wanted discussion.
So the budget, what was budgeted was 5,000. If council's wanting to give them more, it will come out of the ending fund balance of the general budget. And I don't know if you guys are wanting to go up to 5,500. No, I already say 55,000. No, 5,500.
I'll take 55,000.
Back of the show.
I know.
That'd be a
5,500, then
long
we'll have
night.
to, I'll have to, you guys can approve this resolution as amended and with the agreement. But it's your guys' call.
Well,
How much more do you anticipate the tax being?
The tax, if he orders the same show as what we've had, last year we skated by with $32. I had to pay out of pocket from the Lions Club. So this year he already said the prices have gone up. So if I want to keep it the same range, it'd be a smaller show. Now, what that entails, I don't know until he orders the deal. If you want to keep it at 5, that's fine. If that's what's gonna get us there, but it does, we ask, I think last year and the year before it was stayed at 5,000 and that was working. But now with the supply and demand, it's a little bit, it's more. So to try to keep it around the same amount of the show for at least a 20-minute show, I'm asking for 55.
Did he give you a price quote on what? No,
I don't get the invoice until he orders the show.
I
So the show all comes in a large pallet.
Mhm.
And then we separate it out and then we set it up and then we light it off. But until I can get the invoice from him, I don't know what it's going to be.
and how far in advance to the show do you get that? Or the same day? Oh, you get the
He
invoice
gives it after.
Okay.
He invoices me or
The Lions
let
Club.
me, he invoices the Lions Club, which then I turn and invoice the city.
Are you anticipating the rest of the show to go as normal with one field being used for the show and the other being used for the public to be able to light fireworks? Or is that changing?
The major baseball field will be for the show. And I would prefer not to have public interaction on the other field.
Okay.
And sure, that really stems to cleanup, right, Miss Davis?
Correct.
That seems to be your major problem, is getting volunteers to clean up the facility.
Cleanup and crowd control of when people are out there lighting off their own stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have the quote security to keep everybody in that area safe. So it was a little less hectic, less stray. I know the fire department would prefer that people light their fireworks off there, but over the couple of years, it's been kind of abused with it. So there's always one bad egg, right, that ruins it for everybody.
Sorry.
It's all you and your aftermarket stuff.
So I will put an amendment on the floor. I motion to amend this contract as it was put to the floor and already motioned on to include an additional $500. And a second.
Second.
If I could amend your amendment to the original up to and including up to $6,000 as needed. I would like to see us approve up to 6,000 versus the 5,500. I think the Lions Club does an excellent job and I don't want to see them have to pay anything out of pocket if possible.
I second that amendment.
May I have the floor?
All,
May I have the floor?
all right. Yes,
What we can put on here is the city shall pay BCLC the sum between $55,000 to $6,000 for the services provided.
Or you just say up to.
Up to
a sum
$6,000.
no more than $6,000.
Okay.
Would
I'll take it. That is very generous. Thank you.
So I know everybody's confused on this, so we'll need to approve the amendment. Aye.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
And then we're gonna need to.
I am still running the meeting. Yes, so all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Madam Mayor, may I have the floor real quick?
Let me finish what we're doing here and
That's what I
and
need.
say motion carries before you start something new.
No,
Okay.
Okay, so this is amendment number 1?
No, two.
Yeah, the second amendment has precedence.
We did the second one. We
Right.
did the first one now. Now we're on to the original motion. Madam Mayor, it's your call.
Yes. So we'll go to the original motion and ask for approval.
Aye.
Mochler, aye.
Aye.
Reed, aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Good deal.
Thank you, Wendy.
Yes, and thank you for
Okay.
everything you do.
And I
You
will
don't need a
finish the
motion to give it back, right?
application for you
We,
as well.
we probably should do a motion to
I'm
make the
thinking-
mayor the chair of the meeting again.
Yes. Motion to put the mayor back as chair.
Second.
Aye.
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 Motion carried.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It's all right. Didn't get on, so you had to carry on. That's fine. I still don't know why I can't get back into your meeting, but I can't. Okay. All right. So now the next item, I believe, is we've already done the Spink Engineering task, both of them.
Nope.
or
No,
all of
Madam
them?
Mayor, we are on for resolution 2022-08, adopting and approving the 22 update to the Benton City Administrative Code.
Okay. All right. So who's going to lead that discussion?
I guess I will, me and Jeff. So this has been brought to council 2 or 3 times regarding taking the vehicles home and upping the miles one way and the minutes for a response. I was at the last meeting of May 17th. I was told to bring it back. So I brought it back as a resolution to be completed as an action item. So what it's changing to is changing the verbiage for maintenance foreman to maintenance supervisor, adding a vehicle for the maintenance lead and a vehicle for on-call weekend staff as required by rotation of section 5.5. And then in section 17.6.5, it says no event shall an employee commute more than, it used to say 15 miles one way in an allowed state vehicle, it's moved it to 20. Each employee taking a city-owned vehicle shall be documented through tracking devices, which we have on all vehicles. We now have a tracking device on all of them, and we're able to pull reports. And then the purpose for the call out will be documented on the efficiency logs as well as the time cards, which are given to me bi-monthly for payroll. Any questions? Motion.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, I think last time we determined that it's costing us a lot more money because we're going to have to pay personal mileage to the people.
I make a motion to pass resolution 2022-08, adopting and approving the 2022 update to the Benton City Administrative Code.
Second.
Is there, okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Mochler, no.
Funk, aye.
Reed, aye.
4-1. Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. The guys will be very happy about this. All right, the next item is the purchase of a water hydrant. I'm assuming Alan is going to handle this one.
No, actually, Jose's on the call for this one.
Oh, Jose, okay. Great.
Hello. So we're looking to purchase a water hydrant, and this is going to replace the water hydrant on Corral Creek. It's no longer operational, so we're just gonna look for a full replacement on that. Trying to find parts for that style hydrant has been very difficult. So like I mentioned, we just want to go ahead and replace it with the new one. And so I had Sergio help me out with the bid that we got, and we only got we inquired 2 different other companies, and we only got 1 bid back. So that's what we have here.
I make a motion to authorize Public Works to purchase a new fire hydrant for Core and Main in the amount of $4,183.59, which includes tax.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay. All in favor? Please
Hold on, we
signify
have Mr. Sandroto wanting a discussion.
by- Oh,
Discussion. Madam Mayor, may I have the floor to address council?
Yes, you may.
So, and Jose, you can chime in as well. If, and stop me if I'm wrong, we have a bunch of fire hydrants currently in the city. Do we not have any spares?
No, because of the cost is how it's hard to just keep them on the shelf. We do have parts for the style that's on Corral Creek. We currently don't have anything, any parts for that style hydrant.
Yeah, and I'm gonna address this to the council. Wouldn't it be prudent that we had one fire hydrant at least in backup somewhere?
And parts as well. Yeah.
I'm just thinking that this needs to be addressed on a larger scale. And I'll leave that in the mayor's hands, but I just wanted to address that with the council.
So we can come back next time with some costs and bring that back. In the meantime, could we move forward with this or?
Yeah, I have no,
Okay,
I have no problem moving forward. And as a matter of fact, I'll yield my time on the discussion.
okay, thank you.
So
All
we have
right,
a first
so I believe we have a motion and a second. So all in favor, please.
Andrew, do I?
Mochler.
Funk eye.
Reed, aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries.
Madam Mayor, could I have the
I
floor
have-
real quick? I just wanted to mention something.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Regarding the hydrant, so I've been in communication with Dennis from the fire department. We're actually gonna work on a fire hydrant program, and so I'll definitely bring that up with him, and I could come back with something to council regarding that meeting. So we want to develop a like I said, a hydrant program. You know, I know the fire department has volunteers that come in and throughout the summertime and help out with dead end flushing and stuff like that. So we could definitely bring that up.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. Does anyone have any more questions for Jose? Okay, hearing none, thank you. And I will entertain a motion to purchase the fire hydrant.
We already
I think
did.
we already did that, yeah.
Yeah, that's done.
Oh, you already did? Oh, that's right, because we had a discussion in the middle of it. Okay, so time for the vote then. All in favor, please say aye.
We already
We already did.
We already did that.
We already did that too. All right, that was confusing to me when you put the discussion in. Sorry about that. All right, so the next one is SCADA, the telemetry. And I assume that will be Alan.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve change order number 1 for the SCADA telemetry system for wells 1, 3, 4 and a booster station in the amount of $5946.86.
Reed, second.
Okay. All in favor?
Mochler, aye.
Funk eye.
Reed, aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Sandra, do I?
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. The next one is task order 220202, Force Main extension.
Okay, so this task order is for the design of the force main that serves lift station 6 and 7. And those are the lift stations at the corner of Babs and Second, which is Dollar General. And the other lift station that's across from Conoco on the south side of the river. And so this is all covered under ARPA funds. And part of the reason for this is that an unintended effect of discharging both those lift stations up to lift station 4 more directly, we surcharge some of the sewer lines that serve lift station 4. And it seems Wade has told me that lift station 4, sometimes the pumps, they both have to kick on in that situation, just to keep up with the inflow. And so this is what we're planning to do is the force main now. It empties into the sewer about 300 feet before lift station 4. We're just going to carry that on out all the way to the treatment plant or to one of the manholes just above the lift or the treatment plant.
Madam Mayor, may I address Mr. Spink?
Yes, you may.
Okay, I need to understand this because you got a lot of things.
Yeah,
flying out
right,
there.
right.
So
I should have had a diagram.
lift station 7 and 6.
7 and 6, Dollar General and the Conoco
Okay,
areas.
so the Conoco one that comes across the bridge goes
Right.
directly through.
Goes directly through. Before it dumped in right there. Is it Alma?
Yeah.
It's the first street. It dumped in right there originally. Abbey.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it would flow into the second lift station and then be carried forward.
Correct.
Now it's just going all the way up.
It's going all the way up. Correct. And so where you've got lift station 7 force main going all the way up, lift station 6 connects into that force main. So we'll utilize that force main between Babs and Second up to lift station 4.
Right. So that's all dumping into 4 now.
Yep.
Which it was before, but
Right.
it was a continual stair step.
Right, right.
But now you're going to take that out of lift station 4, leave lift station 4 doing its own thing.
Correct.
And you're going to bypass and continue that through.
Yep. Go all the way to the treatment plant.
So this $15,000 is basically pipe, essentially, when you're
This is for
or
design.
Design.
Design, yes.
And then it's just going to be pipe is all this is really going to be, right?
Yes,
once you're
yep.
done?
Yep.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
So Spring Task Order 2022-02 for the force main totaling 72,980 was discussed at the January 25th workshop. It had a different number and then it was approved on February 1st, right? It's just that now you're coming because you're getting it going to get approval for the spring fee.
Yes, yes.
Cool. So this is part of a big projects list.
Correct,
The map
yes,
and
the big
everything else
ARPA
that's
list,
been
correct.
previously discussed.
Yep.
All right.
Got it.
All right. So I guess now that I understand what we're doing, I will make a motion to approve task order 2022-2 Spink Engineering for the force main extension in the amount of $15,200.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Mochler, aye.
Okay.
Wadsworth, aye.
Sandretto, aye.
Okay. Motion carried. All right, the next ordinance, excuse me. I have all this handwritten and I'm sorry, I'm having trouble. The next thing, task order is also on the ARPA list, and that's the extension going over to Jacobs Road, and that's 2022-03.
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
And the amount's the same as what was discussed in the special meeting on January 25th that council approved on February 1st. It's just making sure Sprink has a task order pinned down for their fee to move forward with the project. Is that correct, Alan?
Correct. Yep.
Thank you.
I just want a refresher on what these utilities are. We're talking pushing water and sewer underneath the railroad tracks.
No, this would be up
further
Jacobs
up,
Road,
that's right.
up Jacobs Road, and then a little bit down Field Road too,
Right. I remember this now.
to serve
Okay.
that area up there.
There's too much stuff, folks.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve task order number 2022-3 from Spink Engineering for the Jacob Road utilities in the amount of 75,300.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Mochler, aye.
Funk, aye.
Reed, aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Sandra, aye.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you. The next item is the ARPA list update. Alan, that's you again.
Okay, so before you, you have two revised options for the ARPA list. And so option one, what we thought the utility billing could only go through March 3rd of 2021. And that the outstanding billing on that is a little over $9,000. So we just rounded up to use 10. And then what we've done is to show the groupings of projects that we're putting together so we can go out in a larger project. So that way it's a little more, has more interest possibly by contractors. And also cuts down on the number of projects. So we're not doing as much administration. So we're covering more projects under one contract. And so option one has the utility bill assistance at 10,000. And option two, we've shown it at the full 100,000 because I believe there's some different dates that we can use now. Or that
You want me to talk now?
Yeah, you could.
Okay. So what happened was when we were doing this ARPA, we didn't have the final rule on ARPA yet. So the date on the initial ARPA was stated utility assistance before March 3rd, 2021. Any utility bills or costs incurred before or on March 3rd, 2021. However, when the final rule came out on July to be in January 2022 to be affected in April 2022, there is no date now. So that's when I went to Alan. I'm like, okay, option one, that's the initial ruling on ARPA as to the dates that can be used for the utilities. The final ruling with all the city's concerns and comments and everything, they basically took out that date. So now council to their discretion can say, okay, as of this date, that's it, we're done. What are the bills as of this date? You guys can go use December 31st, 2021. You guys can use when the governor took off the moratorium. As of that date, what is our past due? Currently, I ran a report on May 24th. After we had this discussion with Alan, currently we have 300 and at that point, being that the city considers a bill past due after 1 month, 1 day after the 20th, we had 342 accounts past due at $66,000. That was bills are due on the 20th. They're considered past due on the 21st. They would have gotten shut off. That was 342 accounts at $66,000. We have 40 accounts that are 90 plus days past due. And those accounts in total of those 40 accounts is 30,000. Remind myself, it's about $35,000 total past due as of May. Our moratorium for past due bills expires July 31st, 2022. So if we're wanting to help everybody, then we would use $100,000 as of July. However, I got in contact with Sunnyside because I don't know of any cities that have done this before, and luckily Sunnyside has. And they sent me over their resolution of how much they put for 2021 and 2022. So I have a draft of, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel, basically. They sent me their resolution. They sent me their application for people one other thing that Sunnyside did, which I mentioned to Jeff and to the mayor would probably be a good idea, is to set a certain limit per household. The city of Sunnyside, of course, they had more funds. They set a limit of $1,500 per household and $3,000 per business. That was all they get. Currently, we, like I mentioned, as of May, total past due was 342 accounts because of the one day they're late and shut off. But we do have 40 accounts that are actually 90+ days past due. And that total is about $35,000. So that's where the first option is using the initial rule from ARPA of March 3rd, 2021 date. That's about $9,900, and it would only help, I think it was like 20 accounts, but the 100,000 is where we would help more people.
Do we have the ability to show, if whichever option we go with, do we have the ability to show the residents on their water bill where this money's coming from, how it's being credited towards their account?
Well, they would submit the application to us and we would review the application, and then we would let them know. What I would, once you guys tell me which option you want, then I can send out letters to people that it would only apply to them only. And I would only send them out to them. I won't send it out citywide. I would only send it out to those affected, because then and let them know that the city has established a utility assistance program given by ARPA funds, and they are allowed to apply and are able to receive this set amount.
Can we do this without the residents applying? Just make it a blanket. I mean, if whichever option we chose.
We
if
have
they
to
get the-
show policies and procedures to ARPA. We have to show applications. We have to show all of that to ARPA.
Yeah, and I believe we already went through this and we said that's what we wanted the money to go to is
Okay.
solving those accounts. And I'm pretty sure council gave direction that we wanted to focus on the older accounts first
So,
and get them out of the way.
so I understand that the limitation of the current report without going one by one is as of May 25th, 2022, we can see, or any point in time, we can see accounts that are 90 days or more past due, but you can't see things that are 120 days. The good news is there's only about 40 accounts that fall into that bucket, and the total amount's only $35,000. So Rebecca, one of the things I'm confused about in the second option, if that total number of $35,000, it includes the $10,000 from March 3rd, 2021. So why would we, the up to $100,000 is an option, but we're well below that,
Well, see,
correct?
that right there is 90+ days, but if they're wanting to help people who are 60 days or a day late, that it won't cover them. That's why I said total past due is 342 accounts at $66,000 with one day being past due. So that's where that's at.
Now, again, I think my memory is not so good, but
But yes.
I believe the directive was we wanted to help as many people as we could up to that point, focusing on 90 days first, 60 days next, and bringing us down to those in 30 days.
Okay.
But I believe in the discussion that we had, and again, I could be wrong, because I'm not. But I think we said if they're just a day or two late, that's usually on them.
Yeah.
And we can only help them to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So,
That's why the total past due of 35,000, that's people who include 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days.
right,
I thought you said it was only 90 days.
No, it's all of it.
The 35,000?
the 66,000, I think.
The 66,000 includes people who are one day late.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 30, 60, 90 is the 40 accounts of 35.
Could I make a recommendation?
Yeah.
Is that we go with option 2, leave $100,000 in for that utility assistance? Because once you decide on a cutoff date,
It could be more.
then you can have a good idea of what that number is. And those people have to apply. And then if there's any excess money left in that 100,000. Then line item 14, we have water valve replacements. And we've discussed this with the city crew, is that that's something that they are willing to start taking on. So then you could actually purchase the valves, and they'd have them on hand, and then they can go and replace them, periodically.
Or hydrants.
Or hydrants, yes.
Yeah, and I believe, again, I believe we said we wanted Rebecca to get that program in place already. And the drop dead date was the end of the moratorium, the 31st of July.
So I won't have, being that you guys want the end of July, I won't have concrete numbers till August of where we stand, but
Well, dollar figures wise, yeah,
Yeah.
but as far as, and stop me if I'm wrong, as far as the end of June,
I'll start mailing out letters.
that should be it. People should be getting that taken care of, and
And
the 31st, the end of that.
And just to let you guys know, I haven't been putting it on the bills about this money, but since we signed the agreement with CAC, it's been on the bills every single month. And my understanding with the way that CAC program works is people apply to them, they contact us to see how much we have not gotten one call.
Yeah.
So,
Well, so some of the problems we may be incurring here is, I know from my standpoint, I know there's a few residents in town that are empty.
mhm.
And if they haven't shut off their water, then we're still billing these people, and they probably got $5,000-$10,000 worth of a bill. And that's something that we as the city should maybe go knock on the door or hang a door hanger and say, hey, we noticed your place looks vacant. How about shutting your water off and sewer? And
So what I can do with the July bills that go out is right on there that we have these funds. Do you want me to mail a letter to everybody? Or just to the 90 people, the 90 plus days people,
I think it should be in, well,
anybody 30 or over.
30 days or over?
could we just include a letter
Oh, yeah.
in with the water bill that goes out to save on postage, so we're not
Yeah,
double
good.
mailing everybody, and include it that way?
So do we want to offer this to people who are a day late?
No,
That's,
I think we need to put it out there that these funds are available, applications are required. Tell them where they can find the application,
And
English,
it's for-
Spanish, just include it with the water bill, so it goes out that way. It's their responsibility to
and put
actually
on the
apply for this.
application that one of the requirements is that your bill is 90 plus days past due.
Well, we want to help as many people as possible. We're going to give priority to some of those people.
Okay.
So we will need to make a very long list of all these applications and how much they owe and how much
Oh,
we
that's an
approve.
easy report for me to do.
Okay, but I mean, how much we approve for them and et cetera, and help them take care of these bills. I just think it would be much easier to send it out with the water bill versus an
So
extra letter.
with that in mind, what is the limit you guys are wanting to set per household? Like I said, Sunnyside to set a limit of $1,500. There might be people who don't even have that much. Up to what per household?
I think the maximum established by Sunnyside at $1,500 per household and $3,000 per business is reasonable. But perhaps since it's an easy report, we could continue on with the rest of the project list because you have direction and we
Yeah.
can talk about it again before anything gets put in any bill.
Well, I can bring it back up on the 21st and let you
Okay.
guys know.
It's gonna have to go out, yeah, but when's bills go out this month?
They already went out for June.
Yeah, so we have till July.
So can we just create the application on the city website so it's available for when we mail these out? And then people don't know how much help they're gonna get, just the help's available. And we can decide that at a later date, as long as they're getting the notifications that, hey,
Yeah.
some help's gonna be available, turn the application in. And
I guess I just don't want people to think, oh, this help is available and I'm gonna be able to get my whole bill paid. And so, because some of them are $6,000-$7,000 already.
I think that's.
I don't think we need to indicate on how much help they're gonna get.
Okay.
I think anything somebody's gonna get is beneficial. Or if they assume they're getting the whole bill paid, that's on them, not the city.
Does that expose us for any potential litigation or
I was
liability?
thinking even going the opposite way and just saying that, funds are subject to availability on the notice. So first come, first serve, that sort of thing. So I know that there's some sense of urgency there
Okay.
to apply and meet the criteria and maybe link up Craig in particular, because I know he's looked at the ARPA stuff extensively to see what sort of application criteria they need, but it sounds like Sunnyside has something as well.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
you guys helped them create the resolution and the
Craig
application.
must have done that.
And
yeah.
that's where the 1,500 to 3,000, and I have that
Okay,
already.
good.
That's why I was
Alright.
wondering if we just want to
Sure.
go with the same, because then it's not a wheel I have to reinvent.
Thank
Alan,
you.
Yeah, may I ask a separate question about about option number 2?
Yeah, you bet.
So thanks for all the good work to move this forward. Once you have a motion and approval for the updated project list, how soon will the project groupings get submitted to the county so we can work on that? Rural
I'm
fund
actually
exchange?
working on the applications right now.
Awesome.
So
Great job.
I'm hoping, well, to these two, I'm hoping to get at least 2 of them in this week. to them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Be sure to include sales tax.
I make a
Okay.
motion to approve the updated ARPA project list revised option 2.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Mochler, aye.
Okay.
Wadsworth, aye.
Sandretto, aye.
Okay, motion carried. Thanks. All right, moving down to discussion items now, we have the sewer bill for City Hall. I'll talk about that. We had a terrible smell in the office for a long time, and Kent Parker had come and gotten someone to run camera down the line, and anyway, that bill cost us about was it $1,000? Is that the total amount?
Yeah.
Rebecca?
Yeah,
So anyway, when we eventually found out that this wasn't our fault, that we weren't clogging the line, then we got the bill for it, and I asked Kent to pay it, and he said he would split it with us. And I said, well, I would have to go to council for that. So I'm just getting direction if you want me to pursue him paying the entire bill.
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yeah.
Okay, so just to review what the contract says for repairs and maintenance, number 11, says tenant shall at its sole expense maintain the premises in good conditions and promptly make all repairs and replacements, whether structural or non-structural, necessary to keep the premises in safe operating conditions, including all utilities and other systems serving the premises, excluding roof, foundation, exterior walls, which the landlord shall maintain in good conditions and repair at the landlord's expense. So with that being in there,
This
does
is
that
the first
mean,
I heard of that.
yeah, me too.
Well,
Yeah. I guess this bill is ours. If I'm understanding it correctly.
What's it say?
How do we know who caused the clog?
When
Well,
this first
actually,
started, he thought we were putting too much toilet paper down the toilets. So he was fixing it at first, coming to unplunge it and fix it. But as it got more frequent, he's like, I'm not gonna be doing this anymore. I'm not gonna be paying for it anymore. In March, I don't know who called to have it repaired. When they did this repair by Mr. Roto-Rooter, they determined that it was the lines that were installed incorrectly because they were at an uphill, and
line-
bringing
yeah.
everything back, right?
It's causing a backflow.
Yeah.
But I guess Jose is there. He could answer this as well, but caused the backflow and it was pushing everything back up. That, however, was clogging it, but that wasn't what was causing the smell. The smell was caused by an old bathroom drain underneath the refrigerator. And that one had broken and it was no longer sealed. So the repair on that was not very much, but I believe Mr. Parker took care of that. But we still have this $1,000 bill here for, I guess, running the camera and finding that out. But I think the problem still exists, but the problem isn't our fault. It was an existing sewer line.
Yeah,
So,
it's like normal wear and tear, which is, in a nutshell, what the tenant would be responsible for. Also, it is kind of important who called the service provider out, because they would, be contractually obligated to pay them for the services that they provided. I think that's sort of a separate issue. And then, because Mr. Reuter should be paid for their service by whoever called them out. And then there's an issue with the landlord and the tenant, that might be a separate issue.
Well, signed on this is Marcos Lopez, which is our maintenance person. I
Mhm.
wasn't here either.
So what did our landlord say again? He'd pay half?
Mhm.
he said he'd pay half.
Let's just pay 50-50. And then we need to have a discussion with him about repairing the sewer line.
It's already been done.
The whole sewer line's been adjusted, so it slopes right. and
I don't know about that.
Yes,
I don't think they did.
he did it. That's the reason why we closed the office, because they were they busted up the concrete on the 2 bathrooms. He had somebody come in the afternoon to redo the lines. And then the next day he came in, poured the concrete back on into the 2 bathrooms.
Yeah, but he just did the line from the building out, I thought. I don't know, and reconnected it to the line. I don't know that he dug up in the back, outside.
Yeah, as I'm reading this, there's some distance on the camera, like 40 feet or something. So, and let's just pay it 50%, 50%. It really stems to his building, but that little contractual thing we sign, at lease agreement, unfortunately, utilities, we're stuck with them. So it's a 50-50 deal. Let's take his generous.
And would you think that we would also have to pay the outside sewer line? Because it's
Based on how this contract reads, to maintain the building in a safe operating condition, we're responsible for utilities. How far outside the building, our lawyer is going to say that really is our problem.
Yeah, there's.
Well, I know some have a limit. Some insurance policies have a limit. They'll only take it 15 feet out or whatever. But just to be clear, I'd like to get the legal opinion on if we have to do that line outside too.
Right. Well, I would just say, you'll see landlords put a lot of things into contracts. Because they'll get a boilerplate contract from another state or whoever, and that doesn't necessarily mean that
it's legal.
Right. And so typically the tenant, when you rent a building, it's with the understanding that the building's going to function properly. And so you shouldn't be doing repairs that are outside of ordinary, maintenance. Like, for example, if you were a smoker, you might be responsible for painting the walls, but ordinarily you wouldn't be responsible for painting walls in a building that you're renting. So something like a sewer line, that if it was caused by toilet paper, that could be the tenant's responsibility. But if it's something where it's a design issue, or it's just so old that there's a problem there because of the age of the line, that would certainly seem to fall more on the landlord side of things.
Yeah, and I think that again falls to the mayor to have that discussion with this guy and figure out what exactly did come out of it, because that Mr. Reuter thing doesn't give me a whole lot of information as to how bad is the slope out there. Maybe we should even talk, since we signed all this, maybe we should talk to the kid who did it and ask him if he could tell us how much of a slope there is. Because I mean, just from my standpoint, if you got a sewer line, it should always be sloping away. If this thing's sloping,
It should be sloping away, exactly.
yeah,
Shouldn't
if
be
it's sloping back 3% or something, we got a problem.
Yeah.
I would motion we approve payment of the bill at 50% and also approve task order for the attorneys to investigate this further and come with a solution if needed.
I second.
Okay. All in favor or all in favor?
Quick point of order, is this not just a discussion item?
Well, this is a discussion item, but
Yeah.
we could solve
It
it
is.
now if you want.
We take it
So
back.
just
I
pay
would
the
like to
bill.
see this come back at the next meeting for approval.
We just have.
Does it need approval under 2,500?
Yeah, have it put into the bills for our 50%, get his 50%. Let's do that.
Okay.
And the direction from the council, Madam Mayor, is to follow up with our landlord and figure out what that slope is, and if he's gonna do anything
Okay.
about it or where we sit.
Okay,
So no
all right. Thank you.
You always surprise me.
Okay. Okay, then we'll move on to the update of the FirstNet proposal.
That's actually me.
Okay,
So I took it from the last meeting we had. You just wanted to know what a full price quote proposal was gonna be with the Nighthawks and everything required, because the first presentation included only one Nighthawk, but then the mayor started talking about Nighthawk mobile devices in different places. So I got with him, and what's presented to you is the number of broadbands, mobile spots, which is 3, 2 in the community center and 1 out in maintenance. So with that, even though we're still under our current US Cellular bill with those,
Do we need to in the community center?
well, that were, the
Yeah.
reason the mayor requested 2 in the community center is for that computer class she's wanting to start, because even
There's
though
5.
even though FirstNet says you can hook up to 10, the more you hook up to it, the slower it goes. So she's like, if we put 10, then we can put 5 and 5, and they'll still have quality.
Or
Internet.
we can use as many as these as we're requesting, is that correct?
Yes, but the price
Oh,
quote
yeah.
was right now just for 3.
Sure.
Just know that right now, our price quote per month would be $595, which would include 10 smartphones, 2 tablets, 3 hotspots, and a basic phone at $595. If we want to add more hotspots, it's $36 each a month.
The reason I'm inquiring about that is previously we discussed cameras around the city to protect city property.
Mhm.
And with those, part of the reason we didn't follow through with that was due to lack of internet, a way to broadcast that. But with these hotspots, we'd be able to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, we would with the mobile network.
And so I say that knowing the bandwidth utilized by most of those cameras, if you got any one that had a decent picture, your frame rates would probably be pretty insignificant because they'd have to be so far out because of the large amounts of data. However, that being said, you could place up some cameras with low frame rates and low quality. It would help you with deterrent. It would at least give you some idea of what you're seeing, but it's not going to be a good quality image. Just something to keep in mind when you're thinking that way.
And another thing that FirstNet said is if you guys are okay with this, we can do all the swapping and porting on Monday. And we would have everything on Monday.
Unfortunately, again, it's just a discussion item. So
Yeah.
we can't approve it.
Well, it wasn't something to approve because you guys had already told the mayor to go ahead, but
Oh,
you guys wanted a
perfect.
full proposal of what it would cost to come back to. So I just wanted to have you guys see what a full proposal was looking
If
for.
that's what they're doing charges, they're not going to add what?
Outrageous sales tax.
Yeah, or something.
That's why I said the only thing that
Say
would
right.
change this is if we had more hotspots. And one of the things I did tell FirstNet, because they give us 2 options of phones, 1 free, 1 to pay. I told them everybody would get a free phone. I am not going to be paying any more phones. So that's why they are willing to come out on Monday and say, here are the phones.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Next.
Next.
Fire inspector.
Okay, so I guess we don't need to vote on this then, or approve the amount?
No, ma'am.
We already did last meeting
They did at
Okay.
the last meeting,
or the meeting before.
All right.
Somewhere back there.
May 17th.
Okay, then the last item before we go into executive session is the fire inspection ordinance.
There's one, Craig inspected this ordinance and found that, I think he wants, his thought was to have something a little bit more involved in terms of not a one size fits all approach, looking at businesses differently. Some businesses, for example, might not have any public occupancy at all. And others might have, a lot of people coupled with, a higher risk of a fire hazard, like a restaurant or something like that. And so looking at businesses differently, charging them a rate based on that, based on the need for a fire inspection, I think was what he was suggesting. And of course, that would mean that the fee would be variable as well.
Well, the fee that we get from Northwest Code is 75 no matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah, so it's a flat fee we get from them. That's what we're wanting to increase it. I did put, when he spoke to me, he told me to print out stuff from Battleground and how they do it, which is what I provided you guys with. That's why just so you know, the fee schedule is ready to go with the amounts you guys suggested of 125 and 100 for new businesses and renewals. And when I sent over the draft ordinance for this fire inspection, that's when he came up with, he was looking at other cities to see how they did it, and he came up with Battleground to see if your guys are, like, they have an inspection fee table, they have an occupancy classification hazard ranking, and they also have a operating permit, which is something different that we don't have. And I don't know if that's something, if you're just wanting to go with what you guys wanted, a straight, just put it in the ordinance that all businesses with public occupancy will require a fire inspection at initial and annual renewal, or if you guys are wanting to go through the same process of operational permits and fee tables and whatever.
With your.
I think it's important to figure out if they fail the fire inspection, what do we have other than giving an operating permit? That's my question. I mean, you can ask them to get it, but if they fail it, then what?
They don't get their business license permit, and then they have to have a reinspection, and then we'll charge them an extra $80 for a reinspection fee. That is in our fee schedule. A reinspection, a fire reinspection is $80.
Okay.
And they won't get.
And each time they fail, they have to pay that.
Yep.
And with your occupiable conversation, this also includes residentials with sleeping dwellings such as apartments. And it also includes duplexes, fourplexes, stuff like that.
So, yeah, with the public occupancy, the one that we spoke about. Okay,
So
what direction do you want us to go then with that?
I would recommend relabeling those with like an R2, R3 versus Division 1, Division 2.
Right. Yeah.
So in reference to the ordinance or the policy, keep it as simple as possible, fixed fee. It's a one-time deal. Whatever we're being charged for it, we're passing on to the consumer. I'm not sure that Benton 3 or Fire District 3 or whoever this is, not sure that it's 100% where we want to be, but looking at that other one that she got there, Rebecca, that looks like a whole lot of confusion for a whole lot of people. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to make it easy. We want people to build businesses.
So the, and the frequency of inspection would be annual. You said a one-time deal, but it'd be.
Annual.
I'm talking a one-time fixed fee $75 type
Okay.
deal, right? So 75 for the initial, 75 for the next, whatever the cost is. We shouldn't be out there going, well, because I was reading this one, it says, if the building gets bigger, we're gonna charge you more. Still building. I mean, granted, if it's 8,000 versus 8 million square feet, you got differences, but it's still just a building. You gotta go through and look at all the stuff.
Right.
Sometimes you get good ones that are easy.
And if
sometimes you
the,
get
and if
big
the
ones.
permitting entity is charging her 75, regardless of whether it's 1,000,000 square feet or 20, it's a little coffee hut.
Yeah.
If it's the same amount, then yeah.
And I do believe you said we can't set up variable fees through the e-file.
No.
Yeah, it just needs to be a fixed
Yeah.
rate.
Okay.
And I've already contacted BLS to advise them of this, that's coming down the pipelines. So they already gave me the form I need to fill out to
Oh,
give it to them so they can update their side as well.
How are we gonna notify businesses?
They're already doing it, most of them. or
Are
they
they?
should be.
Okay, but they haven't had.
Can
to
you
pay
speak
for it.
into the microphone, please?
You're right.
Again, we could probably send it out in the water bill.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, once the
Helps when we're
resolution,
Communicating, right?
once the resolution and ordinance passes, then we'll send it out
We'll
because the
communicate.
ordinance has to be is in effect 5 days after it's ran in the newspaper. So I have to follow that. And then once everything passes, then in the mayor's letter, I'll make sure she puts it in there. And with the increase of the fees and all that kind of stuff. So basically what we're doing is we're gonna put it in the ordinance. The fee schedule will reflect that. And all new businesses will be 125 and all renewals will be 100 per your guys's direction from last time. And that's ready to go. Next.
Next is executive session, but Madam Mayor, may I have the floor to address you in the council?
Yeah.
Before everybody gets out of here, I just wanted to make sure that I put this out. Talking about communication. I think one of the things that would be valuable is to have one of our staff go to a basic PIO class. So that we can get and figure out what's the trending notification sets and how do we do that with FEMA and all that stuff. And there should be a class at the state level, I would assume, that we can look up and find. But I think somebody on staff should do that, Madam Mayor.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea to me.
More than likely, it'll be me.
Okay,
Does everybody understand what PIO is?
public information.
Not
officer.
really. Some sort of communication.
Yes, a dissemination of media releases, notifications to the public, understanding what's available to us locally.
Well, just to let you know, we do have our Facebook up and going now. So,
Well, that's one piece, right? But a constant message is important.
mhm,
So if we give something out to the media, it needs to be the same message we put on our Facebook,
mhm,
same message we put on our website.
mhm.
The
The consistency in all
Yeah.
the avenues we have.
right.
Yes.
And then there's different things that they're going to teach you in that class about how to disseminate that information. What's important to the public, what's not. So,
I will look into that.
okay. I yield. Thank you. It's all you, Madam Mayor.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
It's all you. We're waiting on.
Okay. Okay, so we'll adjourn this session now and go into executive session. And I imagine this is going to take probably a half hour. Do you agree with that?
I would say.
Okay, so we're at
I'm-
9:33. Half hour, we come back at 10:03. So, and then we have another one afterwards. Are we gonna make a motion to extend the meeting?
Let's just make it an even 10 o'clock. We will be back.
For one.
We'll be back And then if we have to extend, we'll extend at that point.
Try and get them both done.
Yep.
So we're gonna try to do both of them in 30 minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Meeting, regular council meeting is adjourned.
I mean, I thought the others.
Okay, are we adjourning this?
We're back in, Madam Mayor.
Pardon?
We're back into our regular meeting.
Okay, so since we have no action, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Mochler, aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
Stop recording.
Okay, thank you.